My 22 female fiance, 23 male wants to buy a Tesla right out of college. I think it's not the best choice. He's pissed. Help! So, Mike and I have been living together for 2 years now, which isn't that long, but it's long enough that our fiancés have become entangled. We've been engaged for a year and a half now, and together for just over 4 years. I genuinely love him, and we've both done a lot of growing up over the course of our relationship, and fortunately, we have grown together, not apart. However, neither of us are without our flaws. I'm still working on being a more direct communicator, for example. Anyway, the reason for this post. We pool our money into one big family pool, and have, since we got engaged. I'm better than he is at planning for things and setting up goals, so while we discuss everything and talk as equals and partners, the bulk of the responsibility of research and number crunching falls on me, which I am okay with. We're partners and we each have our own strengths that we bring into the relationship. The budget is laid out as follows: emergency savings, retirement savings, future housing savings, wedding or honeymoon savings. Current housing costs includes all bills and average food costs, date fund, pet fund, health and fitness fund, transportation or auto costs, and then 2 separate funds for each of us to do with as we wish. I also ended up with a rather sizable inheritance, which he does not have access to. The inheritance is for the future and I'm working on growing it. It's tied up in investments, and not something that we're factoring into plans for our near future. When budgeting, I pretend that it doesn't even exist. Edited to add this, as it's useful information. I know for a fact that he burns through his fund quickly. He always buys the latest released AA game, shells out for several MMO subscriptions, and the rest is spent in in-game cash shops. I am 100% fine with this. This is not the issue here. The issue is that $1,000 recently went missing from our wedding fund. We're not planning a big wedding, and the wedding will, when all is said and done, cost around $2,000 itself, and I was hoping to have another $500 for the honeymoon. By the way, because I'd rather save for a nicer house, I agreed to no engagement ring and just basic $100 wedding bands. I'm the furthest thing from a Britazilla. That's a lot of money to just go missing, especially since we're both still students who are working somewhat crappy student jobs. I am actually quite proud of myself for just calmly and bluntly asking what happened to that $1,000, and he informed me that he had reserved a Tesla Model 3 for himself. He could tell that I wasn't thrilled about that, and he asked if I was upset. I said yes, but I don't want to talk about it right now. He asked if I was going to do some research, and I said yes, and went off into my study area. Things have been a bit weird since then. He's angry with me because he doesn't feel like I'm supporting him, and he says I must not want him to have nice things, like his dream car. Now, I've already secured my first out-of-college job. On just my salary alone, we would be able to afford the Model 3, but I have strong feelings against living at your means right out of college. I personally feel like you should be living like you're still in college, as far as budgeting goes, for the first few years, in order to be able to make big purchases like a house and to set your future up for success. He had said that he agreed when we set up our goals together and discussed this, and I am hurt and upset that he didn't talk to me about this major purchase before going through with it. He still hasn't gotten any job offers that he's interested in. They didn't offer good enough packages, and I think he feels like he needs to get a better offer than me, because none of the offers were skimpy. They were on par with or slightly below mine. I feel like he's trying to spend money that we don't have for himself, without even thinking about how it could impact everything else. That $1,000 could have been shifted from the wedding fund to the moving costs fund, for example. I strongly feel like it could have been better spent. We're both still driving our beaters, but when we relocate for my job, we can easily get rid of them thanks to the amazing public transport that we will have available to us. We even talked out the plan for transportation months ago, when my offer was still just tentative. Am I wrong to be upset and feel betrayed by all of this? How do I frame this so he doesn't think that I'm trying to take nice things away from him or otherwise stifle him? How do I get him to approach the topic more calmly? Also, is a Tesla, Even a budget one, a smart choice right out of college. Update Reddit April 20th, 2016. I don't know how many of you wanted an update, but I'm giving one because I feel like I owe it to this community. Y'all saved my ass and helped me wake the fuck up. I read every single comment that was sent to me and I took them to heart. I realized that my relationship with Mike is toxic and that I needed to get out of it. I graduate next month and have my dream job secured. I might be in pain right now, but it will pass, and I will build a life for myself. This all moved pretty quickly. This morning, I told Mike that I had to talk to him, and it was important. We talked about the Tesla and why he would commit to purchase something knowing full well that it conflicted with the standing plans and without even talking to me like a partner. He made a comment about not wanting to have to ask permission to buy something as simple and basic as a car, and I reiterated that he doesn't need permission, but he does need to include me in large plans that impact us both. I know that I sounded very rigid when it came to money in my post, but I'm really not. I'm just well organized and I pride myself on that. There is plenty of room for spontaneity and we both have somewhat generous pools of money to do things with. And I've never questioned any of his purchases before or wanted him to ask permission for anything. I just wanted to be included in the thought process. He told me that he was considering taking out a loan for the car and we went through all of the reasons why that is a bad idea, especially with his massive student debt. He lashed out at me because I'm apparently approaching this from an unreasonable position of privilege in that I don't have any student debt, and I don't understand how all debt can be good. I don't have debt because I got some great grants and scholarships and the meager loans I did take out have already been paid off. My education wasn't handed to me, as he was implying. I became emotional during our talk, and I told him that I had to call the wedding off, and I will be moving out because this is an irreconcilable difference, and I can't be with someone who doesn't share the same goals that I do, or at the very least has respect for me as a person. He didn't seem to care, and went back to his computer to play one of his games. That was several hours ago, and I've been busy sorting things out. We rent from his dad and I was never on the lease, so I don't have a landlord to work anything out with since it was all under the table anyway. I still alerted his dad that I'm moving out and he surprisingly wished me well and told me that he knows I'll be a success someday and he's just glad that he'll be able to say that he knew me when. That hit me so hard. I'm finding that I'm more upset about losing his family than I am about losing him, at least right now. My parents are both gone, and his family stepped up majorly and made me feel like I still had a family. Anyway, untangling assets has been very easy. Since we did maintain separate accounts, I just deposited money into his for his spending account, and we're only legitimately joint on the wedding account. I'll get that closed down this week. I'm writing off the $1,000 as a loss and will let him deal with the Tesla mess on his own. Who knows? Maybe he will sort everything out. But I didn't want to go along for that ride. I'm writing this from my best friend's place. She's insisting that I stay here with her until I have to leave, and I'm so thankful for that. I had never told her all of what was going on with us, and she was horrified that he'd do any of what he did, really. She offered to round up her brothers and cousins and go give him a talking to, which made me laugh. She's sweet and she's helping me cope with my feelings about everything that happened. I'm feeling sad and down, but I'm also already feeling relieved. Most of my things are already out of the apartment and are in my friend's garage, and I'll be getting a storage unit this week as well. But she's telling me there's no rush. Gah, sorry for all the rambling. Anyway, thank you all for helping me see all of the things that I didn't want to see or couldn't see because everything had just been so normalized. I'm now apartment hunting, so I won't even be restricted as far as what kind of place I'm looking for, so that's another bright point. I'm a weird mixture of sad, angry, relieved, and excited right now. Thanks, Reddit.